The famous Wayne Gretzky once said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take." But what they didn't mention is that Wayne Gretzky missed about 4,000 times in his career. So the more time I spend in this hobby, the more I'm realizing that buyer's remorse is just part of the game. When you first start, you think you're gonna strategically buy a series of watches as you ascend Watch Mountain. And sometimes it feels like that when you watch YouTubers with their curated collection videos, but the reality is a lot messier than that. So this is going to be one of those stories, how I fell in love with the Panerai, the thing that caused the honeymoon to abruptly end, and I need you guys to help me figure out what to do next. Hey guys, I'm Max and this is WatchCrunch. So let's face it, we're not going to explore these deep watch emotions on Instagram. So get the WatchCrunch app, now available on both Android and iOS, and let's get deeper into topics like this one. So if you've been following my Panerai journey, you'll know that a month or two ago, I kind of impulse bought a new PAM 915 for my birthday. It was like a passion purchase. I loosely knew what I was after, a standard 44mm Luminor with a sandwich dial. They happened to have it at the AD, so I took that as a sign. So I was on my merry way enjoying my shiny new watch and looking forward to building a life together with her. Well, the honeymoon phase abruptly ended when I saw the other watch. She caught my eye from across the room on another man's wrist. This was the PAM 177, and I had to go over there and take a closer look. This watch looked a lot like my watch, but different. It was somehow more rugged, more mysterious, more Panerai. I wondered if it was the guy. I mean, he was like a big dude and maybe he just wore the watch better. But as we got to talking, he handed me the watch to try and I quickly realized that it was more than that. This version has somehow escaped my research, and that's kind of inevitable because Panerai makes so many damn models and each one just gets an anonymous serial number. But holding this PAM 177, I got that sinking feeling that maybe I'd made a mistake. Could I even look at my 915 the same way again? See, the PAM 176, 177 was like the base watch from 2 generations ago, made between 2004 and 2013. And their claim to fame was their titanium construction. Titanium is about half the weight of steel, and when used on smaller watches can sometimes feel a little bit too light. But on big hulking pieces like this, it doesn't really detract from its heft. Plus, Panerai only uses the best materials, grade 5 titanium in this case, which is an alloy of titanium mixed with aluminum and vanadium. This makes it stronger, more heat and corrosion resistant. It also just feels better in the hand. Compared with grade 2, it's not as like hollow and warm feeling. It just is more substantial. In a full satin brush finish, the metal takes on a darker and moodier tone, and it just looks all the business. This just feels like a watch that slaps you across the face in the morning and throws you in the ocean. No, literally, the day I got this watch, I jumped in the ocean with it on. That's the Panerai effect. Or maybe I'm just weird. But don't give up on the 915 just yet. See, I bought the titanium watch because I just had to put them side by side to show you guys and also to find out if this jealousy was just fleeting or it was gonna last. But the newer 915 still has a couple of legs up on the old dog in a couple of important categories. Guys, do me a quick favor, drop a like for this video for the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. See, my advice is if you find yourself falling in love with the watch or maybe the honeymoon is fading, find a new strap for it before you sell it. A new band sometimes can trigger a whole new perspective and like honeymoon phase 2. So in this case, I reached out to my friends at Boss for straps, and they sent over both straps seen in this video. These are not cheap, be warned, but they're super well made. You can feel the craftsmanship. And after messing around with straps from like Etsy, let me tell you, these things are just on another level. When I put the 915 on the ostrich strap, it just sang. See, If the 177 is the essence of Panerai, then the 915 is like its modern reincarnation. This watch is fully polished instead of brushed, giving it a more refined aesthetic. And the newer movement allows the case to be a full millimeter thinner. That doesn't sound like much on a 14 mil watch, but you definitely can feel it on the wrist. It just sits more squat. It doesn't want to wobble like taller watches. And it can even possibly duck under cuffs and is more versatile. Plus, ostrich is just a more kind of dressy material, and the brown tones of it picks up on the brown lume. And the whole package is just less clunky, more grown up. Panerai was able to thin out the new watch because of its new in-house P5000 movement, with an added bonus of 8 days of power reserve. That's 196 hours for those of you gifted in multiplication. This thing is like an Energizer bunny, it just keeps ticking. Winding these watches is a pleasure. The crown is released by prying open this lever, and engaging with it inside the big crown guard is just a very mechanically satisfying affair. The 177 allows you to also see the movement from an open case back. And for me, definitely not necessary for a tool watch, but I'm not complaining because the movement is easy on the eyes. Even though it lacks the advancements of the new 8-day power reserve, this Unitas-based 6497 has a more than adequate 56 hours of power. The big pocket watch looking thing beats at a lazy 3 Hz and is handsomely decorated with Geneva striping on the bridges, blued screws, and even a swan neck regulator for the balance. This movement is also likely easier to service when it comes time versus an in-house special. Panerais are known for their hilariously bright lume, and the first time I caught the 177 after briefly taking out the trash and coming back indoors, I thought I had like a Timex Indiglo on my wrist. Unencumbered by the Fotina, the 10-year-old 177 still manages to outshine the newer watch. So this is a hard one, guys. Both watches have their strength and their drawbacks, and I do wonder if I'd feel differently if the 915 had a bit more brushing on its case, especially around the lugs. I mean, it is thinner, higher tech, and overall wears better, but the 177 is just more quintessential Panerai to me. It gives 0 Fs, and it's what I imagine Sylvester Stallone would pick. The 915 speaks to the avocado-eating city boy in me, but when I put the 177 on, it makes me feel like I want to put black paint under my eyes and go wade in the shallow water at the enemy camp. But it wasn't easy tracking it down on the secondhand market, and I really had to work my dealer contacts to locate one. You always have to be careful buying a used Panerai because there are just so many fakes out there. And from what I've found, if you want a nice 176, 177 with box and papers, you're not going to save a whole lot compared to a new 915. But guys, which one would you choose? Or maybe I should have like a all Panerai 2-watch collection. Hit me up on the WatchCrunch app and let's chat further. Stay crunchy. I'll see you in the next one.